am your father.
That was bad, wasn't it? That was bad, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to the channel. I am super excited to be partnering with Mooncat for today's video. I have their new Join the Dark Side collection, which is in collaboration with Star Wars. This release is available right now on the Mooncat website, which I will of course have linked in the description box. This release is jam-packed with some really fun polishes. We have 7 polishes total. 6 of those polishes are magnetics. This was a super fun release to swatch, so I'm very excited to share these with you all. And one of the polishes in particular was particularly exciting for me because it was the first time
as someone who owns over 6,000 bottles of nail polish,
I've never tried a polish like it before, so I'm very excited about this one. If you are new to the brand, Mooncat is a US-based brand. Their polishes are in 12 ml bottles. They are 10-free, cruelty-free, as well as being vegan-friendly. This video is in collaboration with Mooncat. Thank you very much to the Mooncat team for sponsoring today's video. And as always, all thoughts and opinions are my own. As always, in the description box, I will have links to the brand's website and social media pages, my social media pages, and of course, timestamps as well. And as per usual, I'll save all of my final thoughts, feelings, opinions, random thoughts at the end of the video. Let's get into this one. First up, we have a galaxy far, far away. Mooncat's description for this one is a black magnetic lacquer filled with a holographic glitter, red and blue iridescent flakies that reveals a bright aqua blue magnetic stripe. A galaxy far, far away had a beautiful formula. I'm sure I'm not alone at being surprised at this polish being described as a black base polish because like blackware. This is going to be one of those magnetic shades that how much of the base color you actually see versus the magnetic pigment is going to depend on how you choose to magnetize the polish. Personally, I love this shade of blue, so I actually like this one the most with the velvet effect, which is on my middle nail. For all of my swatches for this release, on my middle nail is the velvet effect, and on my ring finger I use the cat eye effect. My full hand swatches here show the polish in 2 coats. However, on my ring finger I did opt to go in for a 3rd coat. I found for the cat eye style of magnetization, this one does sheer out a little bit more than the velvet effect. I'll still call this one a 2 to 3 coater depending on personal preference, but my personal preference for the cat eye effect was in 3 coats. I could tell that Mooncat packed a lot of magnetic pigment across the board for all of the polishes in this release. Nothing in here is going to dry down super textured like a glitter, but I still would recommend glossy top coat as the polish dries down just a little bit flat. And I do also want to mention for all of my full hand swatches, I held the magnet over my nail from between 30 to 60 seconds. And then I also remagnetized the polish after I added a glossy top coat. Highly recommend doing that with these. This next shade is called Dawn of the Empire, and Mooncat describes it as a black magnetic lacquer that reveals a red magnetic stripe. Dawn of the Empire also had a fantastic formula. The base did not feel overly thick or thin, and I had 0 application issues. This is another shade where the black base is kind of hidden from all of the magnetic pigment. You won't really see the black base until you magnetize this one. Unmagnetized, this looks like your standard deep red shimmer, but once you start moving it around in different lighting, you'll see a brighter red shade as well as like an orangey tone. I feel like the overall look of this one might be a little bit too dark to necessarily call it super fiery, but I just feel like the shimmer shifting to like from a deeper red to a brighter red to an orange, it just makes me want to say, yeah, that's fiery, even though I know it's a little bit dark for fire. Surprisingly or unsurprisingly, depending on how often you spend on this channel, I like this one the most unmagnetized as well as with the velvet effect. My full hand swatches here for Dawn of the Empire show the polish in 2 coats, and I only magnetize the final coat. That is my personal preference on magnetizing polishes because I am not patient enough to magnetize every single layer. Nothing in here is going to dry down textured. Removal is going to be super duper easy, just slightly messy due to the magnetic pigment. I will still recommend glossy top coat as this polish does dry down a little bit flat. This next shade is called Death Star, and Mooncat describes it as a silver magnetic lacquer filled with a silver holographic shimmer that reveals a silver magnetic stripe. Death Star also had a fantastic formula. If you are like me and you love holographic sparkle, you're probably going to like this one. I'm quite sure if it's the silver base that gives us a very chromy look or if it's the magnetic pigment that gives the polish a very chromy look, but I feel like a really good way to describe this one is a holographic chrome. While you do have some serious brush strokes when the polish is wet, I did find that once this one dries down, the brush strokiness definitely disappears. And as someone whose least favorite part of chrome anything is the brush strokes, I was very happy that the brush strokes did disappear. To my eye, I think the base color on this one pulls more of a dark gray, and then there seems to be a linear holographic pigment and maybe a second holographic pigment. I feel like I'm seeing 2 different sizes of holographic in here. Unfortunately, the weather was not playing in my favor, and it was very overcast and rainy the day I was getting my natural light shots. But based on how this one looks in my studio lighting as well as just walking around my house, I'm definitely seeing a lot of rainbows. My full hand swatches for all 4 nails are in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. I once again would definitely recommend wearing glossy top coat with this. It dries down a little bit flat. Nothing in here is going to dry down textured like a true glitter. I still would not recommend scrubbing this one off. Like, it's going to be messy. Why would you do that to yourself? Use the soak off method. And now we have Imperial Stormtrooper. Mooncat describes this one as a black when cold to a light gray when warm thermal magnetic nail polish with a bright silver magnetic stripe. Imagine my surprise that in the 30 years that I have been painting my nails that I have never personally owned a thermal that was also a magnetic. Like, my mind was blown when I saw this. I generally find thermals to have a thicker formula, and Imperial Stormtrooper definitely was a little bit more on the thicker side. I did not personally experience any application issues with it. I didn't think it was too thick at all. It spread out and self-leveled really nicely. I found this to be a very reactive thermal. It wasn't changing as I was painting my nails, but it was definitely changing pretty quickly on me. I was also very surprised at how good coverage was with this one in 2 coats. Usually I find thermals are a solid 3-coater to get the warm state to be perfectly opaque. I did, however, notice though when I was recording my live swatches, I did have a little bit of nail line peeking through on my thumb. So I will call Imperial Stormtrooper a 2 to 3-coater depending on your application style. I will fully admit the day I was recording my full hand swatches, I felt extra committed to getting these to be opaque on me in 2 coats. Unfortunately, I ran out of daylight while I was recording my full hand swatches, so this is just how the polish looks in my room. As is typical with thermals, Imperial Stormtrooper does dry down pretty dang flat, so you will definitely want glossy top coat to give this one a nice shine. Removal is going to be super easy though. This next shade is called Lord Vader, and Mooncat describes it as a red magnetic lacquer filled with a red shimmer that reveals a silver magnetic stripe. Lord Vader is another shade that looks really, really chromy, especially when it's unmagnetized. I did find that unmagnetized on this one, when it dries down, I could still see a little bit of brush strokiness through the magnetic pigment. As I mentioned earlier, I do not like the look of brush strokes through any kind of like shimmers and pigments and things. So I found for me personally, who really does not like brush strokes, I found that these are pretty minimal, and the slight brush strokes that I could see didn't set off that thing in my head that goes whenever I see brush strokes on my nails. Unmagnetized, this polish looks almost kind of taupe-ish leaning, which I was not expecting because in my brain, silver plus red does not equal taupe. So if you are like me and you want to see that vibrant red base, you will definitely want to magnetize this one. I did find the formula on this one to be pretty good. It was a little bit on the thicker side, but the kind of thickness that kind of adds to opacity and stays where you put it, I did not find it runny at all. My full hand swatches showed Lord Vader in 2 coats plus glossy top coat, both magnetized and unmagnetized. And again, the magnetic pigment in this one was super reactive. Like, it magnetized so easily. And in case you missed it when I said it already, I really highly recommend for all of the polishes in this release, when you add your top coat layer, to make sure to remagnetize your polish. I found because the magnetic pigment in these polishes is so strong and reactive, when the top coat re-wets the polish layer, I could actually see the magnetic dispersing a little bit, and that will really help lock in your magnetic effect. Lord Vader was actually the first polish in this release that I did swatch, and you can see on my ring finger that the cat eye effect looks kind of more like a turnip. I was originally going to fix it, and then I decided I was just going to leave my mistake in so you all can see why you should magnetize your top coat layer. So, you know, learn from my mistakes unless you like the turnip look. And now we have Scum and Villainy, and Mooncat describes this as a dark brown magnetic lacquer filled with a bronze colored flaky that reveals a silvery pink magnetic stripe. Scum and Villainy also had a really nice formula. I did find it to be a bit more sheer than some of the other polishes in this release, so you definitely want to build this one up. I'm going to call this one a 2 to 3 coater depending on personal preference and how you choose to magnetize it. I found once again for the cat eye effect that it sheared out the polish a bit more than the velvet effect did. I didn't catch this until I was here recording my live swatches, but it does seem that the nail with the cat eye effect looks a little bit darker than the nail with the velvet effect. So if you want to deepen your base color up a little smidge, I'd add a 3rd coat. And again, for my full hand swatches, I only magnetize my final layer. And I gotta say, I really love the addition of the bronze flakes in this polish. They pop so nicely from the base. I found them to lay down pretty flat on the nail, so they're not going to dry down textured like a glitter or make removal overly difficult, just, you know, a bit more messy. And once again, you will want glossy top coat with this one as it does dry down a little bit flat. Last but certainly not least is Star Destroyer. Mooncat describes this as an icy blue silver metallic flaky lacquer jam-packed with silver metallic flakes and micro holographic glitter. I do not think Mooncat would have been able to fit one single flaky more in this bottle if they had tried. This was really jam-packed with flakies, and I really love that for us. Formula for Star Destroyer was fantastic, but this was also very much on the thicker side. I did opt to add a couple of drops of thinner to my bottle. I was just kind of curious to see if it would change application for me at all. I would say this was just kind of borderline needing thinner for me. Flakies all spread very evenly and easily and do not give off texture like a glitter would, but I'll call it like flaky texture for lack of a better way to describe it. The flakies in here are super multi-dimensional, and I'm honestly really sad that I don't feel like it's really picking up well on camera at all how multi-dimensional they are. Holographic in this one is also not super in your face. It's like gentle twinklings as opposed to like, you know, getting punched in the face by the holographic. I'm going to call Star Destroyer a 2 to 3 coater depending on personal preference. I found that in 2 coats, I could see between the flakes to see my natural nail underneath. I found that the 3rd coat added a bit more opacity, but I wouldn't say it's 100% necessary either. So my full-hand swatches do show Star Destroyer in 3 coats plus 1 thick coat of glossy top coat. While the flakies in here do dry down very flat, and I would not say this is going to be like an incredibly difficult nail polish to remove, I still would not recommend scrubbing this one off because like the level of mess that you will encounter is going to be ridiculous. Use the soak off method. Y'all know I absolutely love custom packaging, so I just wanted to give a moment to the custom packaging that is this release. Here is a close-up of the collection box. It has Mooncat and Star Wars branding across the entire thing. The back has Darth Vader and his Stormtrooper homies in the back. Mooncat really followed the theme so well in this box. Everything is red, black, or white. Nail polish cartons are also custom packaging, including the insides of the boxes, which I thought was a cool touch. The lid of the box is where the nail art stickers are hidden. You get quite a lot of stickers with these. You get 2 sheets total. Incidentally, because I keep this room looking like a cave, I realized that some of the stickers also glow in the dark. Just charge these up using my same filming lights. And then here is the nail file that comes with the collection box, or you can purchase it separately. You can see the Mooncat and Star Wars branding is on both sides of the nail file. The grit for this is only on one side of the file, I was told, so it is priced at a discount in comparison to the normal Mooncat file. Alright, so final thoughts. I thought this release was really fun. I'm also particularly glad that this release came out at a time where I'm personally am really enjoy magnetic polishes. I found the magnetic effect across the board for all of these polishes to be absolutely fantastic. I found them very easy to magnetize. If you are new to magnetic polishes, my biggest tip for you is patience. I do have a video on some tips and tricks for magnetic polishes. If you're curious about that, I'll have it linked in the description box. I am not like a hardcore Star Wars fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I still found this release really fun. I really like how even though each polish looks different, they still cohesively work together really nicely. So for my personal top picks, I'm going to go with Imperial Stormtrooper. I have never experienced a thermal magnetic polish before, and I'm honestly really in love with the finish. Mooncat, please release more of them, especially one in gold. Thank you very much. Death Star is also making it onto the top picks list. I just loved how holographic that is. Usually I am not the biggest fan of chrome anything, like it's just not for me personally. There was this thing about the combination of like the chrominess and the holographic-iness that I really liked a lot. The combination was fantastic. And Star Destroyer is going to make it as my final top pick. Once again, I am not usually the one for anything kind of chromy and metallic. That's not usually my vibe. But there was just something about how dimensional the flakies were in that polish that like it made my eyeballs very happy. As far as pricing and sale information goes, the Mooncat and Star Wars collab is available right now on the Mooncat website. Each magnetic polish is priced at $16. Star Destroyer, however, is priced at $15. The collector's box set that includes the nail art stickers, nail file is going to be priced at $131. Each magnetic polish sold in this release will also come with a magnetic wand, so if you don't already have a magnetic wand, you will get one if you place an order. Mooncat also has a Star Wars branded nail file that is coming along with this release, and the nail file is priced at $8. The collection box is considered limited edition. Once that one is gone, it's gone. However, the polishes will be around for a limited amount of time. I would love to know what everyone thought of this release. Are you planning on picking it up? Have you already picked it up? Are you a Star Wars fan? Let me know. I'm always super curious to see how people feel about these releases. Before we end today's video, I do want to give a very special shout out to my channel members, Shenanigang, Stormy fans. Just thank you so much for the love and support. Names, of course, all on the screen right now. If you would like to sign up for my channel memberships, there is a link for that, of course, in the description box. If you enjoyed the general shenanigans of today's video, I would love it if you hit subscribe. Trying to get to 10K subscribers over here on the channel, so I greatly appreciate if if you enjoy seeing me on your YouTube feed, feel free to hit subscribe. And just thank you to people who've already hit subscribe. And I do also want to say thank you again to Mooncat for sponsoring today's video. I greatly appreciate the support on my channel. So just thank you all so very much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a fantastic weekend, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!